UFC Fight Night Perez versus Nicolau, or Nicolau versus Perez, might I say, just happened. And honestly, it was a really great night of fights. I'll be completely honest. There's a lot of exciting fights, back and forth wars, masterclasses, great knockouts, good finishes. And I'll be going through the card from start to finish and just giving my thoughts and breakdowns on what happened in each fight. First off, Gabriel Benitez and Maheshate. This fight was a lot closer than I expected it to be. I thought Gabriel Benitez would just get beat on by the faster, younger Maheshate, but Gabriel Benitez just he did well. He actually did really well. I think there's an argument for him winning his fight. Obviously, I got this pick right, Maheshate. I think the real difference was just the power and the significance of the strikes that were landing, and just the overall impact that the shots had that gave Maheshate the win. But honestly, Benitez did a lot better than I was expecting. Um, Looking back on it, I really didn't give Benitez the credit he deserved because, you know, when I was watching back some of these fights that these guys had, and I watched back Benitez versus Onama, Benitez was kind of piecing the fuck up out of David Onama. And so I didn't, but I just thought that Maheshate would be bigger and stronger, and he was a lot longer, and he was younger and faster. So I thought that would be, Maheshate would just put him out but, Onama could put him out. But I really underestimated Gabriel Benitez. This kind of like lowers Maheshate's stock because you should be finishing Gabriel Benitez if you're bigger, because Maheshate is just like bigger and stronger than David Onama. I would assume maybe David Onama is just the strongest fighter in the UFC for some reason. But not a terrible performance. Great scrap, good back and forth. It was a great way to start the night. Just fun fight. Next up, Ivana Petrovic versus Liang Na. I think I got this prediction right. No, I did. Yeah, because I'm not picking Liang Na. The difference maker was just Petrovic could grapple better, and eventually she got the arm triangle in the third round. It was kind of hard to pay attention to this fight. It just wasn't fun. Great win from Ivana Petrovic, but who didn't see this coming? What we really didn't see coming? Chris Padilla versus James Yontop. So the story of this fight is James Yontop was just Chris Padilla was just much more explosive and had incredible timing on the double legs. Let me say, Chris Padilla is fucking strong and explosive. His ability to control is a bit, something that needs to be worked on a bit. Because every time he did get the big explosive takedowns, Yontop would get right back up to his feet. But just the one time Chris Padilla needed, he made an adjustment, and when he got in that double leg and he got him to the ground, he was able to jump on the back and sink in a rear naked choke like instantly. It took the last takedown he got within 10 seconds after getting the takedown. He had his hooks in, and he had the rear naked choke sunk in perfectly right under the chin. So I severely underestimated Chris Padilla. I mean, Yontop was winning on the feet. He was landing the better low kicks. He was landing some good right hands that were they were kind of like landing on the guard, but they were like they had kind of had some impact, some oomph behind them. But it was just, man, Chris Padilla is just fucking explosive and strong and fast with his double leg entries. Really impressive win. I will say that was it. That was an incredibly impressive win. Next up, Ketlin Souza versus Marnik Mann. This fight was actually really entertaining too. I liked it. Ketlin Souza can box. I'm not even like usually I shit on women's MMA and their technique. Dude, she's actually really fucking good. Like the way she was mixing it up, her body shots. In the third round when she just started like letting her hands fly, the combinations and the body shots to the shots to the head were really fucking good. Great win from Ketlin Souza. Great boxing, great skill display. I wouldn't fight this bitch. She would piece my ass up. On God. She would fucking spinning wheel kick me. So great win from Ketlin Souza. Pretty entertaining fight. I liked it. Next up, Kyle Machado versus Dontel Mays. I don't really agree with this decision, but I can understand it. I think it really comes down to that second round because the thing is, Kyle Machado looked. The commentary was saying, well, whoever goes first looks fast is the one that's faster. No, Kyle Machado was just the faster guy. It's just whenever he lets loose on his combinations, he would drop his hands and his chin would go up in the air, and then Dontel Mays the one time just wings a big right and drops Kyle Machado. But it really came down to the second round. The third round, Machado just took over, put on a pace, was completely outlanding him and outpacing him. I thought Machado did enough to win that second round because I thought he outlanded him, and I thought he landed the better shots. But it's not how it goes sometimes. Not a bad win from Dontel Mays, back in the win column. Kyle Machado, I think we need to give him a lower step, give him a step down in competition, man. Let's try and get him in that win column. Let's give him 2 step downs in competition. Get him a couple wins to build him back up because he's exciting. I like Kyle Machado. I think if we gave Kyle Machado 2 kind of because he's 0-2, if we gave him 2 guys who are on back-to-back losses, then we could have, we could get some fun Kyle Machado knockouts. But it was a fun fight. I liked it. It was entertaining. Good win from Dontel Mays. Next up, Mikhail Figlak versus Austin Hubbard. This fight it's an odd one. Because Mikhail Figlak was... A lot of people thought Mikhail Figlak won. I thought Figlak edged it out. But, I understand them giving it to Hubbard. Did it say unanimous decision? I thought it was a split decision. Oh, that's okay. I think the story of the fight was just that it was close, but the takedowns that Hubbard landed kind of just edged Hubbard the rounds. And Figlak, he's not terrible. He's Polish, but I was really just wondering when is he going to start hammering away those low kicks. Because if you look at him, he has fucking thunder thighs. So I'm presuming, this man can generate some power from his legs. But he just never threw low kicks. He threw, 18? Come on, you're Polish. Throw more. The grappling wasn't too much of an issue. Figlak was getting back up from all of them. He had good get-ups from them. But, yeah, that's a bad look for Figlak because you're losing to the tough alumni on the McGregor versus Chandler. Not a single one of them has won yet, too. Cody Gibson lost. Carlos Vera lost. Kurt Hollabaugh, who lost to Austin Hubbard. Kurt Hollabaugh, who beat Austin Hubbard, might I add, lost. Brad Katona, the 2-time tough winner, lost. So it's just not a good look for Mikhail Figlak. It just isn't. But, it is what it is. This was also a pretty good scrap. I liked it. It was fun. Figlak just didn't do. He did good. He did good, but he didn't do enough. He needed to do something to put a stamp on all those rounds. Next up, Victor Henry and Ronnie Yaya. Ronnie Yaya is kind of just old, man. It kind of went about how I was expecting. Victor Henry kind of has pillow hands, but damn is his boxing good. I really fucking like his boxing. The first round, Ronnie Yaya I thought won, which was shocking. I thought he was doing pretty well. And then in the second and the third, Victor Henry was just like, this guy doesn't hit me very hard. I'm gonna hit him back harder. And he pieced the fuck up out of Ronnie Yaya, got a standing TKO. Good win from Victor Henry. Sad for Ronnie Yaya. All my homies love Ronnie Yaya. Not really. But I mean, he's a cool cat. You know, like he's a veteran of the sport. It's just, you know, Victor Henry was just better. And by better, I mean a lot better. But the story of the fight is just Victor Henry can box and he has testosterone. And Ronnie Yaya, his is gone. Tragic. Next up, Uros Medic versus Tim Means. Uros Medic, crazy uppercut KO. So, Tim Means started out wrestling, shot in for a couple takedowns, was pushing Uros Medic against the fence. He was going for it, but then after he failed a couple of them, kind of had a look of desperation and kind of shot in again. And then, yeah, he didn't kind of. He shot in again. But then Uros Medic timed it with a fucking beautiful uppercut that dropped Means bad and landed one more follow-up shot that put Means out cold. Uros Medic is back in the win column with a crazy uppercut. Absolute dog. And let me see something right now. Yeah, he'd only been... Who all has KO'd Tim Means? Nico Price. So Tim Means has been knocked out via injury. And Nico Price. Tim Means is a tough bastard, dude. It's hard to knock that guy out. And Medic one shot KO'd him. Out cold. Okay, I was just making sure I was recording. Oh, fuck. That would have been embarrassing. But great performance from Medic. I'm just saying Miktabek Oralbai is fucked against Elvis Brenner. Because Medic was defending his takedowns for 2 whole rounds, and Medic said he literally did not train grappling that entire camp. But great win from Uros Medic. Moving on, David Onama versus Jonathan Pierce. I got this one wrong, tragically. But fucking great scrap, and you know what? My respect for Onama and Pierce has gone up. First off, I was wrong about Onama's gas tank. I don't know what training he's been doing, but he's been doing a fucking lot of it, and he's been doing hard training because his gas tank was on point and his striking was on point. So the first round, I thought Onama won. I thought he got outlanded by Pierce, but I thought Onama landed the harder shots. He landed the harder jabs, the rights. So, you know, I think he landed like a low kick and I think a shot to the body. But it was really just he was landing like whipping shots to the head on Jonathan Pierce. First off, Jonathan Pierce has a crazy good chin. Jonathan Pierce has a chin of fucking granite. And if you watch the last 10 seconds of that fight, you'll understand why he has a chin of fucking... You'll understand what I mean by he has a chin of granite. Because David Onama is a hard hitter. Fucking heavy hitter. When he connects, people go limp. And he connected clean on Pierce a lot. And Pierce said, no, Nuh-uh. I thought Jonathan Pierce. The second round, I gave to Jonathan Pierce. He was getting the takedowns and he was getting the back, but Onama has super explosive hips and was able to reverse back takes instantly like they were nothing. And man, like I was impressed by his grappling defense, but he was also making stupid mistakes. Like whenever Jonathan Pierce would get up, he'd like get on his back, and Pierce shook him off and would just get back on top. And in the third round, it just turned into a scrap. The last like 20 seconds, they actually just started winging hooks where every single one of them connected from each of them. All of their hooks that they threw in the last 20 seconds connected. Fucking dogfight. I'm surprised none of these fights earned fight of the night, which was shocking to me. None of these fights earned fight of the night. And Victor Henry didn't get a performance for his fight. That was a fucking entertaining performance, and he just didn't get a bonus for it. I'm kind of like shocked that there wasn't a fight of the night, because Medic got a bonus, Yolanta Denise got a bonus, Guskov got a bonus, we'll get to that, and Perez got a bonus. But this didn't get like fight of the night, this didn't get fight of the night, none of these got fight of the night, and they were all fucking great fights. But it is what it is. Moving on. Speaking of which, Janata Denise versus Austin Lane. First round had me really fucking worried, because Austin Lane just speared this man to the cage and fucking ragdolled him to the ground. And I was like, holy shit, Austin Lane is fucking strong. This is what being a fucking football player does to you. You know what it doesn't do? Doesn't give you a chin. Because after that, Joanna Denise was able to defend the takedowns. And that's where he really showed the glory kickboxing background. Because when he connected on Austin Lane, he connected like 3 times that like whipped Austin Lane's head around. And Austin Lane just doesn't have a good chin. Just doesn't have a good chin. That beard is not protecting his chin. And at the end of it, Joanna Denise landed a good right hand into a left hook combination that just put Lane out cold. And Lane kind of went down really oddly and slowly. Kind of like he kind of knew that he was really hurt, but he was just like, I don't want to get back up and get hit again, so I'm just going to crumple. Story of the fight. Joanna Denise is just a fucking kickboxing goat. And he's undefeated. I can add this guy to my undefeated heavyweights. Let's go. And I don't think he loses first. I still think Mick Parkin loses first. I think he would beat Mick Parkin. I'll say it right now. I think he beats Mick Parkin. Next up, Ariane De Silva versus Karine Silva. This fight was boring. I'll say it was boring. Story of the fight, Karine Silva was just able to take her down. She was able to take her down, control, and just do what she does best. Liang Na and Ivana Petrovic and Karine Silva and Ariane Lipsky was just like the only boring fights, I'll say. Really the only boring fights. But, you know, it wasn't awful. So, difference was Karine Silva was able to take her down at will. Ariane Lipsky just wasn't. Fuck off. Let me pause this, dude. I don't want this shit playing. Ryan Spann versus Bogdan Guskov. I told y'all. Bogdan Guskov is Anthony Smith on paper. You know when Anthony Smith says, well, on paper, I should beat John Jones. Bogdan Guskov is the on paper. Alright? That first round, Bogdan Guskov kind of got, taken down easily. It was really the size, the strength, and the athleticism of Ryan Spann that made the difference. He was just bigger. He was just stronger. He was able to just kind of like manhandle Guskov. Guskov almost got a triangle choke. He was in position for it, but Ryan Spann was just so athletic and strong. He just kind of like wedged him. He just like threw him off. But in the second round, Ryan Spann decided to not shoot takedowns. Thank you. And Gustav started hurting him. But first off, Gustav has a chin of granite because Spann is a hard hitter and landed some solid shots on Gustav. And that Gustav rolled well with him, but the fact that he was able to eat those clean is impressive and shows a granite chin. And eventually Smith throws a jab, and Gustav slips on the outside, throws a right uppercut. It was kind of beautiful to watch because he timed it perfectly. He slips, uppercut, and it connects perfectly on Spann's chin. It hurts him. Spann panic shoots for takedowns. Gustav, starts landing on him, shoves him down onto his back, and then eventually lands ground and pound that puts Ryan Spann out cold. Kind of a late stoppage. I would have stopped it sooner because Spann ate like 2 other shots after he was out cold. So Herb Dean could have done a better job stopping it. But again, I'm not mad because Gustav won. This is Anthony Smith on paper. He's actually really good. His sneaky style, his sneaky striking, and he has heat in his hands. He has power. He has Johnny Walker power. So great win from Bogdan Gustav. I can't wait to see more of him. And I forgot to mention, he's fucking ranked now. 3 fights in the UFC. He was 1-1 going into this fight, and he beats Ryan Spann. That is a good win. You can say, oh, well, it's Ryan Spann. Who cares, dude? That is a good win. Next up, Alex Perez and Matheus Nicolau. I got this one wrong. That's another main event I got wrong. It is what it is. First round, I thought first round was close. I think Nicolau won the first round. I could be wrong. I don't know. I didn't check the scorecards. I was checking the stats after round 1, and it was really close. They both landed about the same. But I thought the straight right left hook that Nicolau landed that was clean, that made an impact. I thought that would have won in the round because of just, the sound. But Alex Perez eventually found his footing, and when he realized that whenever he can starts throwing these combinations, Nicolau doesn't respond unless he thinks he can land a big shot. And then eventually Alex Perez had his Ilia Topuria Volkanovski moment, and it was exactly the same. Because it was like when Topuria landed the shot that kind of hurt Volk or like stung Volk, and it backed him up against the cage, and then he finished the combination with the overhand right that put Volk out cold. It's kind of what Perez did, but there was more of a gap. So I forget what happens, but Perez steps in with something, and Nicolau, who was looking for that left hook the entire fight, Perez ducks under, pivots off his right foot, and lands an overhand right. I think. Yeah. Because Nicolau had his right hand up, and he threw the left hook, which so his hand was down. Perez ducked under, pivoted, stepped off, and landed a big overhand right that stumbled Nicolau back into the cage. And then Perez smelled blood in the water, so he threw a combination that Nicolau defended all of, but then right at the end, Nicolau tried to counter with his own right hook. No, that's what it was. Nicolau stepped in with the right hook. Perez ducks under, pivots off his right foot, and counters with a left hook over the top. I don't know why. I'm like fucking. I can't remember these fights. I'm just like not remembering these fights well. Yeah, he ducks under the right hook. Uh, Pivots off while landing a left hook that stumbles Nicolau back into the cage. Perez smells the blood in the water. He throws a combination. And it was just like Vulcan Taporia, where they think the combination is over, so they're about to counter with their own right hand. But that's just enough time for them to drop their left hand. And the timing was perfect. Perez lands the right hook right on Nicolau's chin, putting him out cold. He saved his career with that. And that brings good attention to flyweight. Alex Perez is saving the flyweight division. Yeah, I didn't think Perez would put him out cold. Because he slumped him out cold. Now, I don't know if Nicolau's chin is just dog shit, or if Perez just has nukes for hands that we didn't think he had. But I want to see Perez rematch Makayev. I don't care. Because I think he would beat the shit out of Makayev this time. I think the only reason he didn't beat up Makayev is because he was coming off 2 years out of the octagon. Fucking, like, multiple injuries. And he said he had some problems with the last camp. But hey, 3 weeks notice, one punch KO. Great win from Alex Perez. Glad to see him back in the win column. Great fight night. Loved it. Entertaining as fuck. Can't wait for UFC 301. People are shitting on it, but I think it's a great card. See y'all later. Bye-bye.